The chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Swalwell, for 5 minutes.
America is and must remain a country that welcomes refugees, and we must welcome refugees of all religions. President Trump has our country under a Muslim ban that makes us less safe and less American. Less safe because we already have in place, since World War II, a process for vetting refugees who come to this country, an intense process that takes 18 to 24 months before anyone can get here. Less safe because it makes us less of a team player on an international stage that requires cooperation among our allies and those in the Middle East who are helping us fight terrorism. If we are not taking on refugees as our allies, like Jordan and Germany and others who are in the thick of this fight, we will not be seen as a team player, and we will not be able to count on them for cooperation. Less safe because it motivates and inspires an enemy to dispel a message that the United States is not welcome to Muslims. It makes us less American because refugees have helped America as much as America has helped refugees. We've seen this in the wisdom of Albert Einstein, the patriotism of Secretary Madeleine Albright. I've seen this in my own congressional office with my Chief of Staff, Ricky Lee, who came to our country at age 4 on a raft fleeing Vietnam and was welcomed into this country where he was given an opportunity to be the first in his family to go to college, started working on Capitol Hill as an intern, and serves as the Chief of Staff in my office today. I've seen this spirit of the refugee in Mohammed Yousafi, who was my guest at the State of the Union just 2 years ago. Mohammed served our country as an interpreter in Afghanistan, lost his father, who was kidnapped and killed by the Taliban for his service, had his little brother kidnapped, and he gave his life savings to save his brother's life. We brought Mohammed over to the United States, but today, if Mohammed was on his way to the United States under this Muslim ban, he'd be detained in an airport. But what is American? American is standing up and welcoming people in need. Being American means going to an airport, as I saw thousands do when I went to SFO Airport in San Francisco this weekend. I saw the lawyers on our staff working to provide casework to anyone who was detained. I saw the spirit of generosity across our country at airports and town squares. Being an American means supporting Congresswoman Lofgren's SOLVE Act, the Statue of Liberty Values Act that will fix and end this Muslim ban. Being an American is what Sally Yates did last night when she stood up against an illegal order and she was fired. Acting Attorney General Sally Yates was not the person who deserved to be fired yesterday. To stop this Muslim ban, we must unite in this country. Unite and make sure that we are safe and welcoming to those in need. Unite to say we will not target people for persecution based on religion. Unite to live out indeed what we are taught in the Bible. Luke chapter 10, verse 25, a student asked Jesus, "What must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus says, "Love the Lord with all of your heart and love your neighbor as yourself." The student asks, "Who is my neighbor?" And Jesus tells him the story of a traveler from Jerusalem headed to Jericho who was attacked, robbed, and beaten along his journey and stripped of all of his clothes. He encounters a priest who walks to the other side of the road when he sees the traveler. He encounters a Levite who also, like the priest, walks to the other side of the road when he sees this beaten, weary traveler. But then he comes across a Samaritan. The Samaritan took pity on the traveler, bandaged his wounds, and took him and paid for him to stay at an inn. Jesus asked the student, "Which of these men was a neighbor?" The student said, "The one who showed mercy." Jesus said to the student, "Go and do likewise." To my colleagues in this House, Republicans and Democrats, and Americans across this great land, refugees are our neighbors. They are the weary travelers. How will we receive them? The American spirit is to be like the Samaritan. We must go and do likewise. And I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.